GM, today's lesson, I'm going to talk about the only option you have when things go bad. That is to cut. So, it's not if, it's when things will go bad. At some point in your trading career, things will go bad. The market will not move the way you expect it to move because the market's ever changing and ever evolving. You have to update your own bias, your own opinion, whenever you get new information. One of the hardest things to overcome as a trader is when you get a bullish setup, you get a bullish trade, you get a bullish trend idea, you enter it, and it goes down. Or the inverse, you get bearish, you start to short, and it goes up. Being wrong is part of the game. So you already know that the game's not about being right, it's about making money. But there are going to be times where it just feels like you're on the wrong side of the market again and again and again. Understand that's just part of the game you're playing. In any walk of life, things can't go right all the time. I used to work in sales, and there would be months on end where I couldn't make a mistake. Constantly printing money, closing every fucking sale, everything going great. And objectively, I was the best salesman in my company. I was the best. I won awards, broke records. I was the best. And yet, there were still times, weeks on end, where things just weren't working. Whether it's a combination of the market environment at that time, my process, maybe subconsciously I was slacking or lazy or not putting in as much effort as I should have been. Who knows? The factors don't really matter. What matters is knowing when to cut. Knowing when to just say, okay, I'm going to stop. I'm going to take a step back. I'm going to recalculate and I'm going to go again. Now, in the market, that's always going to come in this scenario. It's going to be where you're badly offside on a trade. It's you enter a trade and it just goes wrong. Your ego will instantly want you to do one of two things. It's going to cause you to freeze and do nothing. It's going to cause you to double down on your idea, on your bias, on your opinion. Right? That's really the fight or flight response. As humans, when we get into a stressful, threatening situation, we can either fight or we can flight. Meaning, we can either stand our ground and fight back, or we can run away and hide. In the markets, neither of those options are correct. So let's imagine you enter a trade, for whatever reason, it goes against you and you don't exit at your predefined invalidation, or even worse, and I hope this never happens, but it probably will, you don't even have an invalidation because you enter the trade hastily, you enter on FOMO, or maybe you're just so confident that it's going to go up that you just enter. You don't think about, where should I put my stop loss? Where am I wrong? So, you enter a trade, suddenly you're 2 hour, 3 hour, 4 hour down, right? So if your 1 hour for you is losing $50, suddenly your P&L is negative 100, negative 150, negative 200. Understand you must have a reminder on your screen, on your desk, somewhere around you to avoid fighting or flying. You can't fly, you can't run, you can't stay, you can't fight. If you decide to flight, that's where you do nothing. Doing nothing is the most dangerous thing you can do. That's essentially where you freeze. that puts you in position to get liquidated or take a massive drawdown. It's also going to give you brutal uncertainty and lack of confidence. We all know the feeling of when a stressful situation arises and we freeze momentarily. You know you should react in a certain way, but you don't. That's a biological response. Your body does that on autopilot. But in the markets, that can be fatal. It's like when you see, you're supposed to, it's this weird malfunction in our brains that when your loss is supposed to be $50, but suddenly it's at $100, you feel that the best thing to do is nothing. I'm going to wait. It's going to come back. It goes to 50, I'll close it. If it goes back to break even, I'll close it. No, you have to just get out. Second thing is the fight. That's where your ego kicks in and you say, no, fuck this. And you double down. Say, I'm down 100, so I'm going to double up. And then it's going to bounce up and I'll cut a break even, or I'll get a small profit, or I'll get back to 1 hour loss. But that adds more to your already bad decision. That's compounding losers. That also brings extra risk, because now not only are you down 2 hour, 3 hour instead of 1, but for every subsequent move down, it's doubled. So if it went down another 1 hour, it's actually 2. So that's how you can spiral from 2 or 3 hour to 6. And again, that will just double your anger, double your uncertainty, and destroy your confidence. The only option is to cut. You have to cut the trade. You have to just get out and reassess. You have to clear your head. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to feel good. But it is the only option. This is why I bring this to you today. You must understand, if you need to write it down, write it as part of your daily mantra. So before you sit down at the screen, talk about how the quote I mentioned in bootcamp that some of you have seen. Today, I have the potential to lose a lot of money. Just to remind yourself that things can go wrong. You're only human. The market is not predictable. The market is crazy. The only thing you can do is manage your risk. And include within that, I am ready to cut and accept my loss. If things go wrong, I will cut. If I feel like freezing, I will cut. If I feel like doubling down, I will cut. Become comfortable with the idea of cutting your trade. Cutting means closing, for anyone who doesn't know. Close the trade. Get out. Go back to flat. Doesn't matter how much you lost. Get out. Then you'll be able to think clearly. None of the options are ideal. But the only option is to cut. You have to know when to get out. So keep that in mind. If you play in these markets and you treat this as a game for life, it's going to happen to you. You're going to have those days. It's not if, it's when. And always remember, no single day in the market matters unless you make it. The way you get rich is many, many, many small wins compounded over time. That means you have hundreds and thousands of days in the next 10 years to slowly but surely compound your wealth over time. But you can grow and grow and grow incrementally, small, steady growth, and you can wipe massive chunks of it in one day. Always remember that, be mindful of it, and know that there is only one decision. You know the feeling. As soon as there's a feeling of fear, a feeling of anxiety, a feeling of anger, a feeling of freezing, a feeling of not knowing what to do, the answer is always close all trades. Get out, stop, and reassess. Remember this.
I won't stop. Now I can't stop moving on your body. Be that I won't stop. 入侵我的神经，我的身体。Be that I won't stop. 现在我已不能 stop my moving. Be that I won't stop. Be that I won't stop. Let go. 烦恼暂时 let go， 所有的想法都暂时飞走，撩妹的技能精通，我要学一下他们都是怎么行动。California 不去我在家里做，该死的一起让我变成断石头。计划一下我的寒假怎么过，去哪里无所谓，开心最重要。I'm a rap but I sing， 其他的 rapper 好像得了有点病，所有的风格都没太大的问题。Wait, hold up, now you still hang on me, yeah, I beat it, I beat it， 每个街上 I beat it， 我的脚在这，他们想
Terserah kamu sih, kamu mau apa?
Yo, jago putar balik berharap si box rezeki. Tapi saya masih lincah dan sekarang menendang balik. Berdiri di depan mic sambil nyalakan pemanti. Lirikal cerita kita bersama asapku tarik. Hari-hari terkubur rapi di tanah. Oke, ragaku bersiaran tanpa